The Asus ROG Scar 16 wants to be everything. First and foremost, of course, your ultimate mobile gaming machine, which, considering that we are talking about a 1590 powered laptop here, should not come as a big surprise. But with a streamlined new chassis, readily accessible upgrade options, a great keyboard and touchpad, and an amazing and highly customizable matte mini LED panel, it's not only a gaming laptop, but also boasts some proper workstation ambitions as well. I had the chance to not only review this puppy, but also daily drive it for quite some time, including for our trip to Computex quite a while ago. So let's see if the 16-incher can step into the footsteps of its 18-inch brethren, and if it once again secures a place amongst one of the best high-end gaming laptops you can buy in 2025. And before I forget, we have also been able to get you some numbers for the Strix G16, which bets on the same chassis and can be yours with the same internals, but has to make do with a regular IPS panel, with a significant discount though. Our review sample of the Scar 16 is sharing its config with the aforementioned 18-incher we tested a few months ago, and in terms of mobile computing, you will have a hard time finding anything more powerful for now. And it will also be quite interesting which laptop can take the crown when it comes to being Asus's fastest laptop for 2025. So for this one, we are talking Nvidia's RTX 5090, of course running at its maximum TGP of 175 watts, Intel's Core Ultra 275HX, 64 gigs of RAM, a 2TB SSD, and the QHD Plus 240Hz mini LED panel I talked about before. Alongside the downgrade to a regular backlit IPS panel, the Strix G16 we have been able to test swaps the 5090 for Nvidia's second in line, running at the same wattage, and cuts both storage and memory in half. We already talked about it quite a bit in our Scar 18 review, but apart from the new internals, Asus also completely redesigned their Intel-powered Strix and Scar lineup. The G16 still looks very gamery with its green plastic accents, even though it also benefits from the much more streamlined design. And if you turn off all the RGB, the Scar can even look quite professional if you wanted to. But of course, RGB makes everything better, and for both models you have a ton of options, and I'm personally a big fan of the underglow wrapping around the entire base. And for the Scar, you also get the enemy matrix LEDs in the aluminum display lid. And speaking of aluminium, you do not get a lot of it apart from the display lid. And once again, we are dealing with mostly plastic chassis for both the Scar and the Strix. It does make for a pretty sturdy overall construction, even though there's some flex when you're really looking for it. And at least for the Scar, I would have loved a metal keyboard cover, for example, while the overall plastic construction is a bit easier to stomach given the lower price point for the Strix. For its more high-end sibling, well, it looks good and feels premium enough, but at a similar or sometimes even lower price, laptops like the Legion Pro 7 exist with full metal chassis. That said, Asus knocked it out of the park when it comes to ports, and the ROGs both boast dual USB-C, Thunderbolt 5s, free USB-A 3.2 Gen 2s, 2.5 Gigabit Ethernet, HDMI 2.1, and a new reversible power connector we already know from the Zephyrus lineup. So without the need for any dongles or adapters, in true desktop replacement fashion, you can connect pretty much everything to this one. Unfortunately, Asus cannot quite keep the same level when it comes to the webcam experience, and I really hope manufacturers will start to rectify that situation sooner rather than later. But at least you can enjoy stable and snappy wireless transfer rates should you be in a Zoom call and download the latest game releases simultaneously. And the ROG 16-inchers also allow easy and toolless access to their internals should you be into on-the-fly storage or memory upgrades. Just flip this little toggle and the bottom panel pops right off, so you can easily repopulate the pair of SODIMM and NVMe slots. I also really enjoyed the keyboard for this one, with a generous amount of travel, tactile resistance, and an easy to get used to layout. One thing I noticed though when using the Scar in Taipei, if you put this 60-incher on your lap, the rather sharp lower lip of the chassis can cut into your lower wrists or forearms. It's not a deal breaker, but something that would ask you to adjust your positioning a little bit after a while. The trackpad is simply massive and works really well with a premium feeling click. I just found myself turning it off when playing with mouse and keyboard, as I sometimes would trigger a click with my palm. However, since it's easily disabled with a single button, it's also not really an issue. In the display department, we are basically dealing with the same panel, so color gamut coverage and factory calibration is almost identical, but the main difference is of course the backlight technology. So while the Strix is a plain old IPS with very good if not quite surprising brightness and contrast results, the Scar knocks it out of the park with stellar SDR numbers and simply insane brightness values in HDR, topping out at about 1400 nits. So if you are into HDR gaming but still want a matte panel, and maybe you are also a content creator like myself with switchable local dimming, pre-calibrated presets and the overall performance, this particular panel has got you covered. So whether you're after something reliable and customizable for all your photo or video editing needs, or if you simply want to enjoy your games with mouth-watering colors and contrast, this panel is for you. Response times are in the Strix pocket though, while the Scar is not that far behind. And while you will have to deal with PWM, the frequency is very high, so you should hardly run into real trouble here. Alright, let's talk performance. As always, we did some initial testing to see what kind of differences you can expect from any given performance mode. This is for the Scar, and if you want the detailed numbers for the Strix, please follow the links below. But overall, the power levels are mostly the same. This also results in pretty much the same overall performance in our CPU rating, as well as in isolated Cinebench 24 results. Similarly, our PC Mark numbers tell the same story, and so far you do not gain a lot by upgrading to the 5090 in the Scar here, and the Strix with its 5080 can keep up pretty well. Subjectively, both laptops deliver a pretty snappy and quite flawless computing experience even when doing non-gaming things. I already mentioned it before, but during Computex and for a little bit before and after our trip, I was using the Scar as my daily driver and as a desktop replacement for video production and all my personal gaming endeavors, and really enjoyed my time with it. Especially when doing heavy content creation work, the 5090 is a godsend thanks to its 24GB video memory configuration. That doesn't mean a 5080 cannot keep up, but since our RAW files eat video memory for breakfast, it's just a much more streamlined experience and will in fact give you an overall better and much more fluid experience, if you are willing to stomach the cost. Which might be a bit of a tough one, since when looking at our synthetic GPU results, the difference in performance is definitely not night and day. And if you simply buy either one of these for gaming, looking into the 5080 configs definitely makes a lot more sense. Unless, as I just mentioned, you need the additional VRAM or even more specialized features like the additional encoders the 5090 brings to the table. Our 1080p gaming rating tells a similar story, and it really looks like the 5090 does not make any sense for gamers at all. That said, you will probably not opt for full HD when you can also enjoy QHD, and both GPUs are definitely fast enough for the native resolutions of the ROG's displays here. But again, while the Scar 16 can easily keep up with its bigger brother here, the lead over the 5080 in the Strix is not quite a game changer overall. That said, both laptops offer a great overall performance experience, and again, you will have more than enough headroom for years to come, even for the most demanding AAA titles currently available. Please enjoy our benchmarks, and if you are after additional results, be it in different settings or resolutions, or for additional comparisons with the competition, please check out our individual reviews on the website. You can find the links in the description below. And while you are down there, if you are having fun with us so far, please feel free to hit that like and sub button. Your support is always appreciated. When it comes to fan noise, both laptops perform again pretty much identical, which should not be a huge surprise given that we are talking about the same chassis and therefore the same cooling solution. For the performance you are getting, I'm actually a big fan of the ROG's performance mode, which is more of a balanced setting. And if you really need everything their respective GPUs here are capable of, they both get pretty loud, but again, within reason considering the performance we are talking about here. Away from the wall, the difference when it comes to their respective display technologies plays a huge role, and while I would say 6.5 hours for a mini LED 5090 laptop isn't too bad, the Strix manages almost 8, so definitely keep that in mind if you need to be mobile every now and then. And that should already be it for today. With the Scar, Asus ROG put together an excellent high-performance laptop for pretty much everything, be it gaming, heavy content creation or general workstation tasks. Yes, I think we would all wish for a full metal chassis, but given the amazing inputs, relatively clean styling, generous port selection with up-to-date connectors, and the gorgeous and highly customizable mini LED panel, I would personally be able to live with that particular compromise. If you can do with a regular, if still very high quality IPS panel and don't mind the slightly louder design, the Strix offers pretty much the same experience for a much lower price point and very similar performance numbers that show once again, if you do not need the specific advantages the 5090 brings to the table, from a pure FPS point of view, you should really ask yourself if the upgrade is worth the premium you will have to pay. But please let me know what you think about Asus's fastest laptops and which high-end 60-incher is your favorite right now. If you want to catch up on the competition, please check out our latest videos. And if you had a good time with us, do not forget to leave a like and sub on your way out. Thanks a ton for watching, folks. My name is Alex, you have been fantastic, and I cannot wait to see you all in the next one. Take care.